Both lost, both desperate, the match that ends a World Cup dream. I trust myself and I trust them. That was Vincenzo Montella, Turkey's Italian head coach, speaking at his final press conference before the most important match of his career. A simple sentence, 5 words. But underneath those 5 words is a man holding together a squad that is staring at elimination from a World Cup they waited 24 years to reach. Turkey lost 2-0 to Australia in their opening match. Paraguay lost 4-1 to the United States. Tonight in San Francisco, the 2 biggest losers of this tournament's opening round meet in a match where the losers' World Cup is effectively over. Both lost, both desperate. One survives, one goes home. And the press room before this match tells you everything about how both coaches are managing the most dangerous emotion in football: desperation. Let us start with Montella, because what this Italian is doing with the Turkish national team is one of the most fascinating psychological management stories at this World Cup. After the Australia defeat, Montella spoke to the press in his native Italian. He said, "My congratulations to Australia. This is football, and it has to be accepted. It should give us even more motivation." Then he delivered the line that reveals his entire strategy. "Above all, what I expect from the guys is to maintain a sense of balance in their self-judgment, because we are still very much in the race. Balance in their self-judgment." That is an extraordinary phrase from a coach who has just watched his team lose their first World Cup match in 24 years. He is not demanding more effort. He is not screaming about commitment. He is asking his players to think clearly, to not spiral, to not let the result of one match destroy the psychology of the entire tournament. This is a man who knows what desperation does to young players. Arda Güler is 21. Kenan Yıldız is 21. These are generational talents playing in the biggest match of their lives after losing the previous one. The natural instinct of young players in this situation is to try too hard, to force things, to play with panic instead of clarity. Montella's press conference was aimed directly at preventing that panic. He said, "We know there is still time to recover. We can definitely do something more, but it is fundamental that we do not lose our convictions. Do not lose your convictions." That is a coach who understands that the biggest danger tonight is not Paraguay. It is Turkey's own psychology. And here is the historical weight that makes this even heavier. Turkey last appeared at a World Cup in 2002, 24 years ago. They finished 3rd. Hakan Şükür scored the fastest goal in World Cup history. İlhan Mansız became a national hero. That team is still talked about in Turkish homes, in Turkish cafes, in Turkish football culture as the golden generation. This current squad has been carrying the weight of that comparison since they qualified. They survived a brutal European playoff against Kosovo to get here. Çalhanoğlu said before the qualifier, "Whoever plays with more heart will win." They won. They arrived in North America as dark horse candidates. And then Australia silenced them in 90 minutes. Montella knew before the tournament that fitness was a concern. He said before the Australia match that Arda Güler, Kenan Yıldız, and Hakan Çalhanoğlu all had question marks over their fitness. He said, "I do not think they can last 100 minutes." That honesty in the press room is unusual. Most coaches hide injuries. Montella acknowledged vulnerability before the first ball was kicked. Now look at Paraguay, because their situation is even worse. 4-1 against the United States. At home, in front of an American crowd that treated the match like a celebration rather than a contest. Paraguay were demolished, their defense was opened repeatedly, their midfield was overrun, their World Cup dream was nearly destroyed on the opening day. Both coaches now face the same tactical and psychological dilemma. Do you attack and risk being exposed again, or do you defend and risk not scoring? The loser of this match drops to 0 points from 2 games. With co-hosts USA waiting in the final group match, 0 points after 2 games is mathematically alive but practically dead. The pressure on Turkey is particularly intense because of who is watching. 85 million people. The most passionate football culture in Europe, a media that worships its team when they win and destroys them when they lose. Turkish sports newspapers do not do nuance. They do heroes and villains. After the Australia loss, the headlines were brutal. After tonight, If Turkey lose, the squad will return to a country that has been waiting 24 years for this moment and will feel betrayed. Montella understands this. That is why his press conference focused on balance and conviction rather than tactics and formations. He knows that the players who walk onto the pitch tonight are not just playing against Paraguay, they are playing against the weight of 24 years of expectation, the memory of 2002, the pain of the Australia defeat, and the fear of going home having failed the nation. The coach who keeps his players' heads clear wins this match. Not the coach with the better tactics, not the coach with the better players, the coach who prevents desperation from becoming self-destruction. Tonight in San Francisco, Turkey versus Paraguay, two wounded teams, two desperate coaches, one survival match. And the press room has already told us the key. Montella said, "Do not lose your convictions. If Turkey play with clarity and belief, they survive. If they play with panic and desperation, they join the list of teams that waited decades for a World Cup and left in the group stage. 24 years of waiting, 90 minutes to save it." Subscribe to Press Room Wars. Every match, we decode the psychology behind the football. The quotes that predict outcomes, the silence that reveals fear, the games within the game.